This video was brought to you by the third edition of Brexit the Colouring Book. You can relive the process, get Team TLDR's analysis, an exclusive video, have a little colour, and support the channel by picking up a copy. And you can get a never for sale limited edition number 10 pin absolutely free when you purchase by clicking the link in the description. If you listen to the government speak at the moment, you'll hear the phrase levelling up so much that you'll think you've fallen into the mushroom kingdom. But what does the phrase actually mean? Besides being a catchy tagline that sounds broadly positive, and besides being something recently slipped into a government department's title, what does levelling up actually mean? Who, if anyone, is being levelled up? And how will you know if you've been levelled up? I'm afraid by the end of this video you'll be sick of the phrase levelling up. A feeling you might have felt yesterday if you heard Johnson's conference speech, because the Prime Minister had a lot to say about one of his favourite topics. He started off at the conference by using a metaphor to explain what Build Back Better and levelling up actually mean.
When I was lying in St Thomas's Hospital last year, I looked blearily out of my window at a hole in the ground between the ICU and another much older Victorian section. And amid the rubble of brick, they seemed to be digging a hole for someone or something, or indeed someone, possibly me. But the NHS saved me, and our wonderful nurses pulled my chestnuts out of that Tartarian pit. And I went back on a visit the other day, and I saw that the hole had been filled in with 3 or 4 gleaming stories of a new paediatrics unit. And there you have a metaphor, my friends, for how we must build back better now.
Did this make it any clearer to you? No, us neither. We can only assume that the Prime Minister expects the UK to rise from the ashes of COVID in a similar way to that of a hospital expansion. Okay, we'll probably need to dive a bit deeper into what he actually said, because that metaphor has left us none the wiser. Throughout the speech though, Johnson seems to make reference to regional differences in the UK, and explain that levelling up is a way to readdress that balance. He starts off by pointing out that half of York's population had degrees, compared to only 25% of those in Doncaster. Johnson sees levelling up as a way to sort this out, although never actually explains how this would happen. He then went on to make a bit of a party political point.
And that is why levelling up works for the whole country, and it is the right and responsible policy, because it helps to take the pressure off parts of the overheating southeast, while simultaneously offering hope and opportunity to those areas that have felt left behind. And let's be clear that there is a huge philosophical difference between us and Labour, because in their souls, they don't like levelling up. They don't like levelling up. They like levelling down. They do.
The thing is that Labour have actually recently stressed a very similar point to the Conservatives. Only a few weeks ago, Labour promoted their Labour Works report, which effectively was a demonstration of what Labour have done in various positions of power throughout the UK. One of the sections, titled Stronger Together, is about what Labour want to do to make sure that people have decent, well-paid jobs no matter where you live and where good business can thrive. Obviously, a debate can be had about whether the Tories or Labour can ensure that the regional differences around the UK are fixed, but it certainly doesn't feel like Labour are in favour of levelling down, whatever that phrase actually means. Anyway, Johnson then goes on to discuss the regional differences in crime, linking this again to levelling up.
It's all about opportunity, but it's still a grim fact that in this country some kids will grow up in neighbourhoods that are much safer than others, and some will be, as Pretty was saying, some will be sucked into gangs, some will be at risk of stabbing and shooting, some will get themselves caught in the one-way ratchet of the criminal justice system. Many others will not. And that's why levelling up means fighting crime, putting more police out on the beat as we are, toughening sentences, rolling up the county lines drugs networks as we are, 1,100 of them gone already, giving the police the powers they need to fight these dealers in death and misery. That's what we want to do. And what's Labour's answer, by the way? To decriminalise hard drugs, apparently, to let the gangsters off with a caution. An answer that is straight from the powder rooms of North London dinner parties and nothing to do with the real needs of this country.
It's becoming apparent then that Johnson sees any solution that fixes regional differences in the UK as a way of levelling up.
But we all know that some of the most brilliant and imaginative and creative people in Britain, some of the best paid people in Britain, did not go to university. And to level up, you need to give people the options, the skills that are right for them. And to make the most of those skills and knowledge, you need urgently to plug all the other gaps in the infrastructure that are still holding people and communities back.
Again, he links the lack of alternatives to university to the regional differences in the UK, claiming that people need to make the most of their skills in order to help their communities. This is something the Conservatives have made clear that they're keen on for a while now. The Conservatives actually introduced something called T-levels, which are equivalent to GCSEs. But instead of being in academic subjects, they're more vocational and include industry placements. It seems clear then that Johnson wants to go further and wants to try and level up more by encouraging people down a less academic focused route. Johnson then moves swiftly on from education to transport, which, to be fair, is one of the policy areas which makes most sense under the levelling up umbrella.
It's not good enough. It's not good enough just to rely on Zoom. After decades of duck decisions, our national infrastructure is way behind some of our key competitors. It's a disgrace that you still can't swiftly cross the Pennines by rail, a disgrace that Leeds is the largest city in Europe with no proper metro system, a waste of human potential that so many places are not served by decent bus routes. Transport is one of the supreme leveller uppers, and we are making the big generational changes shirked by previous governments. We will do Northern Powerhouse Rail.
Johnson appears to suggest that some cities will get huge transport upgrades under his government, although it's unclear how seriously he'll be looking into giving Leeds its own metro system. If Johnson does, though, press ahead with big changes in the UK's transport infrastructure, he will be addressing a huge problem in the UK. According to the Equality Trust, regions in Wales and the North East get far fewer transport subsidies from the government than places like the South East. Specifically, London receives more than 4 times the level of subsidy from the government than households in Wales. Anyway, beyond transport, the whole levelling up agenda appears to be a way for Johnson to neatly roll together a number of different policies that are causing regional differences into one overarching grand policy for his government. A grand policy without many clear individual policies. At the end of the day, though, most of the objectives most people can agree with. As a country, we ought to be doing more to give people increasingly equal access and opportunities. The issue, at least for now, is when you dig deeper. There may be tons of well-crafted plans behind the scenes, but for now, levelling up seems to be an objective and a slogan, but not enough to actually one-up the country. But do you think that Johnson will address the problems raised in his speech? And is our analysis of what levelling up is actually fair? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Like I said at the start, you can support the channel by getting yourself, or a friend, a copy of Brexit the Colouring Book. The book contains 25 images from the Brexit process, as well as custom commentary from the TLDR team, and a never-released video. So even if you're not into colouring, hopefully you can enjoy it. Anyway, right now you can also get a 10 Downing Street pin with your book absolutely free if you click the link below. Also, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to be notified every time we release a new video. Special thanks to our Patreon backers who make videos like this one possible. And if you want to see your name at the end of videos, then you too can back us on Patreon. The link to that is in the description.